G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and I was just down the back here mowing and doing a lot of much needed maintenance around our poultry enclosure and our free ranging area where all our chickens and ducks, well, they all used to. We don't have any left at the moment because a fox eventually got through all our defence systems and killed the lot, which is really devastating and disappointing. And it's why I haven't really been showing or talking about poultry much over the last couple of months. Not that we've been in a depressive state, and not that we're sad that we have to buy our own eggs, which is just horrifying. More so that we're trying to figure out a way that we could make this area safer for our poultry. Now, if you follow my channel, you'd know that the poultry pen there has been fox-proof and dog-proof now for a good 3 or 4 years. I put a dog skirt, a galvanised mesh around the poultry pen. You can see it in the background there. This bit here, just in front of our picnic area, this is the external boundary. It's about chest high, and it's worked quite well as well to keep especially any dogs out. But now the foxes have worked out that they can climb it, which foxes will do eventually, and I always had that in the back of my mind. That's why we kept the poultry pen sort of bomb-proof. But it turned out that, yes, I was outfoxed. Eventually he found a way through. It was only a really small hole, but he looked like he chewed his way through, probably over several weeks, and worked at it, and it was an obscure spot at the back of the pen, and then he gained entry. I'd already marked some extra renovations that I wanted to do to our poultry pen here, which is situated underneath a whole lot of these gum trees down the back of our property. Makes for a really excellent picnic area, this viewing area where we have a barbie or a fire, and people can watch the chickens and ducks free ranging and throw them a bit of bread here and there. Really, really great. The pen itself inside this large paddock that I eventually fenced off, it just needed some extra work anyway, because we were getting snakes and goannas and crows stealing the eggs, and you get the occasional really large carpet snake that took the odd duck and chicken as well. Not chickens, but ducks. I think we've lost 2 in the past, say 5 or 6 years, to large pythons. And so I was going to renovate that in there anyway. And because we keep our poultry right until the end, we nurture them. Like when they stopped laying, commercial farming and all that, they either cull their poultry after a couple of years because their laying period expires. But we obviously don't do that. As backyard poultry keepers, we love our birds, and we become quite attached to them. And just because they've stopped laying doesn't mean that we get rid of them, or turn them into compost or bury them underneath a banana tree. So what we end up doing is letting them drop off the perch, so to speak. So after about 7 or 8 years, many of the birds just die of natural causes. Sometimes younger birds die of a heart attack, who knows, a small genetic disorder or just natural causes. So we had a rooster that I think got a tick and died peacefully and quietly, but died rather quickly. There's nothing much I could do for him. But nevertheless, what the idea was, because I wanted to get all this stuff done anyway and revamp it, I thought, well, I'll just leave the poultry just wither down. So you might say that it was a little bit of good fortune that we weren't stocking up our poultry like the good old days. This used to be absolutely pumping. We used to have like 25, 30 plus birds breeding our own chickens, lots of little mongrel breeds. It was fantastic. And so this whole area would be pumping with birds and ducks. But over the last couple of years, we haven't been refreshing our stock. Yeah, we got a couple of extra young layers, I think it was last year or so, just to keep the egg production going. And so we'd only have 2 layers. The rest were just on their way out, and we were just mothering them along the way until they all dropped off the perch, and then I was going to renovate this place. But it so happened that bloody fox came in and knocked the rest of them off. So I found them scattered everywhere. Then I ended up getting some trail footage of him, left part of a duck there for him to come back and take, just so that I knew what he looked like and how he was getting in and out. It seemed like he was climbing over. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the full footage of him climbing the fence. He would drag a duck to the edge of the fence. You could see where all the feathers were, and then he would get over the fence himself because he couldn't drag the duck through because the holes were too small and he couldn't fit through. So he'd climb the fence, get on the other side, and then pull the duck the rest of the way through the wire. You know, how cunning and clever is that? But anyway, we're not going to let that deter us. So after a couple of months of pondering, and of course I've been busy doing lots of other things as well, we've made a decision. We're going to make this boundary fence like Fort Knox. I'm not only going to refurbish our poultry pen and bring it back to its former glory, but I'm going to reinforce this dog fence and turn it into an electric fortress that no fox is ever going to want to come back to once they try it once. You can see here I have our electrician Mitch come along. He gave us an assessment on the property and he's started now installing the electric fence. He started putting the spacers on first so that the electric tape can go around the outside of our boundary, and he's already set up our electric fence power station up here. I might as well give you a look at it. Next to the compost piles that I'm got to refurb as well. It's another one of my big projects. So it's going to be solar. It had to be all the way up here because of the sun. And I'll be talking a lot more about this. Of course, I'm going to do a full video on the installation of this electric fence, the testing of it, and everything to do with it, all the issues we ran into, the problems. Of course, it's not finished being installed yet. I guarantee you it is going to be a thorough video on the installation of an electric fence until we get it working so Mickey Mouse that no dog, fox or anything is going to get through that barrier, or even wild boars, which are now becoming a bit of a hassle down the back of our property as well, and they're pushing up against that fence. So before they break through and wreck everything, hopefully this electric fence that we put up in the next few days will be a deterrent to everything. Let me give you a bit of a look around. I've been working like a, speaking of dogs, I've been working like a dog. I've been so busy with my YouTube as well as working around here on the property and other commitments concerning YouTube as well. In the city. Seems like everybody wants a piece of me lately. And plus Nina's still away and she's not going to be back until the end of this month. Being the home dad, 2 kids back at school, they just finished their school holidays. I have been working my butt off. It's been good though. Don't mind working hard. Just wish I had more time in a day, you know what I mean? So you can see where he started to install these all the way around, and I've been whippersnipping or brush cutting the boundary to make sure that it's easy for the electrician to do, but it's also getting rid of all of the scrub. Then I'll let it go. I've let this whole area go, turned into a jungle. I mean, it's a fantastic area for poultry if it was kept safe. Duck dam down the back and plenty of area to free range, plenty of grass to eat and bugs to eat and things to find, you know, ducks finding frogs, and there's plenty of extra feed in here for our poultry. So yeah, the aim is to keep it safe though. But even inside here is just turned to crap really. Obviously we've still got our quail. They never got taken because of that pen here, but I've got to clean off all the rubbish off the roof and all that. But yeah, the quail are still fine. I'm still happy with the cage. But look at this, plants growing, weeds all through where the chickens used to be. This still here is the framework for the extra snake-proof mesh that I was going to put up, and I'm still going to do, and to make a internal pen of this pen because it's quite large, this whole pen, and the idea was to have that same door for the larger part of the pen, and have a door here as a sort of like chicken only laying area where snakes wouldn't be able to get through. That's still on the cards, and I'm going to put a roof over this as well, which is going to be a heck of a challenge and probably good video really. And I'm still working out how I'm going to do that and what I'm going to make it of. And look at this big lantana here, big weed. That's got to be all chopped out. I've got to do that in the next today and tomorrow. And there's plenty of other stuff that I've got to chop out and brush cut down, whippersnip down, and to bring it back to its former glory, like I was saying. Duck ramp, the duck pond is all festering over, and of course void of any birds. Yeah, this whole area needs a revamp, and passion fruit vines taking over the walls. I'll have to cut back a lot of that. I don't mind the vines taking over the poultry pen, as long as it doesn't compromise the safety, of course, because it keeps the poultry shady and cool through our really hot subtropical summers. But I've got to cut some of it back, and I've got to attach extra mesh to this and roof the whole thing. There's a lot of work to be done here. But yeah, the priority is, at the moment though, is to get that fence electrified. That's why I'm concentrating on the outside here first. This is 200 meters of perimeter fence line that I put in a few years ago. All the way around, with the poultry pen basically in the middle. The duck dam is over there. And then that's where we started, up there with the picnic area. And that's the bottom left hand corner. So I had to whippersnip this whole area to get it clean so that the electrician can go along and attach the tape. So that's what the process is, and that's what I've been up to. Oh, by the way, speaking of videos and what I've been up to, I've got my final video on the seed saving series that I did, of the 5 videos. That'll be coming out soon. But I've needed to get this done because we had the electrician booked in, and they got certain times, these tradies, that they need to get jobs done and dusted. So I had to drop that for now, and I'll probably release that within the next few days. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's happening here. Once we get the fence electrified, once I fix the poultry pen up, we will then look at getting more ducks and chickens and starting the whole thing over. And I reckon it's going to be super duper. Fort Knox this thing up and make it one of the best free ranging areas for poultry in the world, especially for backyarders. That's my aim. Sometimes poultry keeping can be a difficult thing. You will run into issues, and I think most poultry keepers have run into predator problems before, and problems that they didn't foresee and have been burnt. And I've chatted to a lot of people and online about how they didn't expect it, but their flocks were devastated through a dog attack or a fox attack, and they're really saddened and disappointed like we were. But don't let that be a deterrent. Like us, look for ways to improve your defences and continue keeping poultry, because especially chickens or ducks, because they will really add value to your self-sufficiency, your family, and also those birds' lives. And even if they do get cut short by a terrible accidental attack or death or whatever, or an eagle, who knows? At least they're having a good life and they're not locked up in a cage just laying eggs on command for us to eat. I know which life I'd rather have, and that's one that I can roam free for several years and then die a quick death from a predator, rather than one where for 2 or 3 years I've sat in a cage laying eggs and then just got dispatched. I know which one I'd rather be. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for more. Bye for now.